Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. I'm here to do my May 2023, or my Mays of year past. So far, it's only 1 year past. May of 2023 book haul revisit. So before I get into it, as you may remember, I had a breakup recently with NetGalley. We're no longer in a relationship. I have taken the NetGalley books that I received during May of last year, but have not yet read. I've taken them out. They're not included. When I did this for April, I included the one, but I'm not, it's pointless because I will read them at some point in the future and I technically don't own them anymore. So whatever. So those don't count. The ones I've read, there are a couple NetGalley books on here that I did read, and they're on here, but we'll see. Also, I just finished doing my April book haul. Did I say, yeah, April book haul, and it was traumatic, and I just don't have the strength left in me right now to go get all these books, so I'm just gonna put them up here, pictures of them. So after I took out those NetGalley books, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books that came in last May. So let's go through them. The first one was a NetGalley book. It was Imperfect Lives by C.J. Washington. I did read this. It was okay. My review is up on Goodreads. It did not wow me. It wasn't, I just didn't feel that it was memorable, really. It's kind of predictable too. The next one was Bad Kids by Zijin Chen. So this one was interesting. So this is a book that is a great book, but very much not a book for me. It is, if you like Quentin Tarantino, you'd like this book. That's basically the best way I can describe it. There's a level of violence. And my thing with violence is sometimes it's necessary and you deal with it. And sometimes it's just gleeful. And I don't like that. And that's what this was, just like with Quentin Tarantino movies. So, but a lot of people do like that. So if you like that you might like Bad Kids by Zijin Chen. Zijin Chen. Make sure I got his name right. Personally, I mean, I could recognize the quality of that book, but man, I did not enjoy it. So if you just saw that cutout, it's because The Girls on Chalk Hill by Alison Belsham, I just said was a book I didn't like. I was remembering a different book. I really liked The Girls on Chalk Hill by Alison Belsham. It was a British crime novel where it's the first in a series of which there were 2, and I think that I got the second one like almost immediately. I think it shows up in the next. Yeah, it looks like it shows up in July. This was a great crime novel. It's about, so this detective comes back to her hometown in Kent, England, and I think she's from Canterbury. And she's been in the United States working for the FBI. I don't know if that's a thing they do. I don't really care. Something happened. We know something happened. I'm sure it'll be covered in later books. But she gets there, and they find like she's out running and she finds like the body of a dead girl, like up on like one of those chalk things they put on hills. Like in the United States, like in a college town, they'll put like a, whatever. And then she realizes that, so when she was growing up, she was one of 3 she was 1/3 of a triplet sibling set. And all 3 of them had been kidnapped and only 2 made it out. And she thinks that like the same guy's doing it. This was a great one. So I cut out what I said before. I actually really like this book. And I'm looking forward to it because, as I said, the second book comes up in a couple months and I'm looking forward to the third book. The next book I have is Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is one of Before the Coffee Gets Cold books. I have it on audio. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I will at some point. Audio is not, to me, the highest priority in getting through. So it's not, I'm okay with audiobooks sitting there for a while. I will get to them eventually. And then the next book I actually legitimately do not have because I passed it on to my nieces. And a lot of people have been reading this recently because it was longlisted for the Women's Prize, and that is The Maiden by Kate Foster. I will admit I was really surprised to see this on the Women's Prize list. I liked it. I mean, it was fine. It was a historical novel. It was fine. It didn't seem award-worthy caliber to me. It was fine. If you like historical fiction, go ahead and read it. It's great. I mean, for that, it is fine. I just, the Women's Prize, the books I have read from Women's Prize lists tend to be more to use the L word, literary, and this one just didn't seem to be at that level. So I was just really surprised to see it there, but there you go. And then I have 3 books that I have not yet read, but they are staying on my TBR. The first is The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mikki Brammer. This was a book of the month pick for me. I will be reading it at some point. It's still on my shelf. I've heard good things about it. I also kind of feel like you need to be I know that it deals with a death doula. And as of right now, that's kind of one of the reasons why I have been staying away from it, because if you follow my channel, you know, a month ago, I lost a really close friend of mine to cancer. And so I'm not really in the mood right now to read about death doulas, even though I hear this is actually a heartwarming story. I just think maybe this isn't the right time for it. The next one is Midsummer Mysteries by Agatha Christie. This is a collection of her stories. It's one of those that they've been putting out that are sort of seasonally based. So they weren't collections that were... Agatha Christie herself did not put the collections. They're her stories that modern editors have put together. And I have read them in the past. I have read the one about love stories. I read the winter one. I read the haunting one. They're fun and they're very seasonal. And I actually am planning to start this one soon. I was waiting until like May or June to start it. So I will be reading this one soon. And I know that I have read some of the stories in it already in other collections, so I usually just skip those. The next one I have is The Chestnut Man by Søren Sveistrup. I think this might have been an impulse buy for me. I do like Nordic noir. However, after buying this, I've heard some... I don't know. Not everyone's loved this book. So I don't know. It's going to stay on my TBR for now. We'll see at some point in the future. I may reevaluate it. But as of right now, I don't have any plans to get to it in the near future. Okay. After that, I have 2 books that I did read. The first one was 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, which I loved. I think that was the first book I finished this year, if I remember correctly. I read it and then I gave it to my daughter who loved it. She in one of her classes, they're supposed to do historical reading. And so she read historical novels. And I questioned the teacher because some of their historical novels are like fantasy novels that are sort of based on medieval ideas, but they aren't. They're like, I don't know, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the books. They just aren't historical. So I said, here, read this. And she did. And she really enjoyed it too. And the next one was Body Grammar by Jules Ohman, which she is a debut author. She's a local author in the Portland area. I love this book. It was a beautiful coming of age story about a young woman who has always been approached by modeling agencies because she has a very unique look. She's very androgynous, but she's also tall and they want that look. Her whole life, she's not interested, but then something happens that sort of changes her world. And as a method of escape, she takes them up on it and she becomes a model. And then she realizes, things about herself, and there's a bit of a love story in it. It's really nice. Really enjoyed it. I think if you want to try a good debut novel, that's a great one, is Body Grammar by Jules Ohman. Okay. After that, I have The Sea Queen by Linnea Hartsuyker. And then I realized after I bought this, that is the second in the series. You will see, I think it's the next month. I think in the next month I get the first book. So obviously this one is not going to be read until I read that one. I just have to get around to doing it. That's why I actually started doing a TBR game, is to try to get to some of these books that have just been languishing. But yeah. So when I read that depends on when I read the first one. After that, I have Fanny Herself by Edna Ferber. Greg at Supposedly Fun had read this and really raved about it. And it sounded really interesting, and I was able to get it off Kobo, and I just need time to read it. I just need to read it. It's there. I don't think I have ever read Edna Ferber before, so I am really interested in reading it. And then I have These Days by Lucy Caldwell, which I believe is a World War II story set in Ireland, if I remember correctly. This was at least shortlisted. It might have won, I can't remember, the Walter Scott Prize last year. Katie at Books and Things, Katie Lumsden, has talked very highly about it as well. So I got that from my Kobo, also just sitting there. And then it looks like on sale, I picked up a short John Steinbeck novel called The Wayward Bus. I have read 2 John Steinbeck works so far, and I own a lot more, so I need to get to them. But I have read Travels with Charlie, which I adore. And by the way, fabulous audiobook. It's Gary Sinise narrates it. And I've read East of Eden, which I loved. So I want to read more John Steinbeck. I just need to get to it. That's like the story of me with it. So there you go. And I already forgot how many books I have here. So let me count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 14. And of those 14 books, I read 6. So not quite half. That's not horrible. And at least one of them, well, a couple of them are kind of not priority reads at the moment. The audiobook, Before Your Memory Fades, as I said, I don't worry about getting to audiobooks as quickly. And then The Sea Queen, I need to read the first book first. And I just need to wait till I feel like it's kind of a better time to read The Collected Regrets of Clover. But other than that, I think I'm doing okay with this. So May 2023 was not horrible, and I did okay with it. We'll see how June goes. Anyway, I'm not sure when this video is going to go up. I am filming it on April 30th, but I have some other videos that I might want to put out first. So this video will come out at some point in May. Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.